All right, folks, so investors, maybe they can overlook inflation and supply chain issues. I mean, really, but it's crushing Main Street, and we, of course, know it's adding to the turmoil in Washington, D.C. I'm going to bring in from Bianco Research, their president, Jim Bianco. And Jim, you know, of course, the market really only cares about inflation when it comes to maybe how the Fed may have to deal with it, which is makes it intriguing because you put out a tweet today that is suggesting wage inflation is indeed a major culprit. And I don't think Jay Powell wants to hear that. He sort of said, you know, kick the Phillips curve to the curb rather in early 2019. And it's sort of been the de facto, hey, don't worry about higher wages. Is it now something that they've got to worry about?
Yeah, it definitely is. And let's put this in perspective. There's a report that came out today, the Employment Cost Index, which is the most comprehensive measure of wages in the United States. And for the year ending in the third quarter, private industries wages went up 4%, a little more than 4%, which is the highest number in at least 20 years because they only started the report in 2000. Now, that's a good thing that wages are going up, but also the inflation rate is around 4% too. So all these wages are doing is keeping pace with inflation. Now, where's the rub? Interest rates are 1.5%. That's not going to fly if we're stuck with a 3 or 4% world. And the fear is that this is going to drive interest rates a lot higher, and that's what keeps the Fed up at night.
Now, on the same topic, or related to, of course, is all that backed up traffic at the ports. Now, in many ways, though, it's reflective of money. But in this case, also a lot of that free money, that rescue plan, $1.9 trillion. And now, people are kind of hip to the notion that, hey, free money is not necessarily a great thing. I think it's given President Biden a lot of issues with trying to pass this spending bill. How much of a problem is it now for Democrats? Because there was a time when President Biden used to say, hey, look at the polls, this is popular, and now it's not popular.
Yeah, there is a consequence to free money. When we look at the ports, let's remember what's happening with the whole supply chain. It's running at capacity. There's bottlenecks only because we want it to go more than 100% of what it's capable of doing. And that's where things are getting messed up. Why is it running so fast? You give everybody free money and you tell them to go out and buy things, and that's what you wind up having. You wind up having excess demand more than we can handle. Now, over time, you can expand the supply chain to meet that excess demand only if companies think it's going to be there. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's going to wind up continuing to be a problem. So yes, this is the downside of when you start throwing money at everybody and throwing money at everything. You get higher prices. Years ago, before the pandemic, it used to be just in equities and no one really cared about it. But now it's also in stuff that we're seeing, and now we're seeing the backup in the ports and in the supply chain as proof of that.
Jim, I got 30 seconds, and I want to get a quick take on the crypto market. Is absolutely on fire. Of course, you have been a champion of the blockchain and what's happening, this financial revolution of sorts. But you've also sort of been guarded. Do you feel like maybe there's just no more resistance? I mean, it's smooth sailing with the occasional air pocket. I mean, are we at that point now with this?
Well, yeah, there is that. I think what's happening, if you go with the traditional crypto market like the Ethereum coin, it has made a new all-time high today. What's happened is a lot of regulatory agencies have come down with some suggestions and proposals, and the crypto universe is looking at it and going, okay, this is not going to devastate us. And I think that that's going to rally. They're not against regulation. They're just worried about devastating regulation. And you don't seem to have that. There is a concern that some of these other altcoins like Shiba Inu are going completely off the rails, and that's always going to be the case there. But, all things are going well, at least in that space for now.
No, going well is an understatement, Jim. Thanks so much, my friend. Great having these conversations with you. In fact, this whole rally continues. We know Bitcoin